Hi everybody, welcome to Vegan June Day 3 and what I ate. And so for breakfast yesterday I made some superfood toast with almond butter and caramelized bananas. For this I just toasted a slice of my superfood bread. I have batches of this in my freezer without the onion and garlic powder and the herbs, so it is just plain bread for breakfasts like these. And whilst this was under the grill, I cut a banana in half lengthways and then the halves in half. Spread on some agave nectar and then fried them in a pan on a low heat for a few minutes each side, moving them so that they didn't stick to the pan. They go slightly caramelized, and once you flip them over they'll cook on the other side in what's left in the bottom of the pan. Once the toast was done, I spread on around 2 tablespoons of almond butter. I then cut the toast in half and placed the fried bananas on top. I had that with a cup of the pucca vanilla chai. It's another really great filling breakfast with loads of energy. You can put cut up bananas on how they are. You don't need to caramelize them for an even quicker breakfast, and it makes for such a great snack as well. And speaking of snacks, for something mid-morning I made a blackberry acai smoothie. It's such a simple smoothie. I just broke up 1 banana and I popped that in my food processor and then added in half a cup of blackberries, 1 cup of my homemade oat milk, recipe is below, a teaspoon of acai powder and a teaspoon of agave nectar. I blended that all up until it was nice and smooth, poured it into a jar, and I enjoyed it chilled because my oat milk was nice and cold from the fridge. Again, you can make this with raspberries or blueberries as well, and even though my oat milk is already sweetened, I added in the extra agave because the blackberries were really sharp. Another one you can take in a jar or bottle for on the go or to work with you. For lunch I made a really simple vegan miso soup, and for this I just sliced up 6 medium-sized mushrooms and I added those to a little hot water in a pan and I cooked them for around 5 to 10 minutes. Once they were cooked, I then added in 1 thumb-sized piece of grated fresh ginger, minced in 2 cloves of garlic, and added in a small handful of chopped spring onions. In another bowl I mixed 2 tablespoons of miso paste with a little hot water until it was nice and smooth, and then I added that to the pan along with 4 cups of hot water, which makes a litre of the soup altogether. I cooked that for around 5 minutes and then served it up in a bowl, added on some fresh coriander, some more spring onions, and also a splash of tamari. This is just a really basic miso soup. You could add in noodles, seaweed or tofu to bulk it out if you like. I love it with noodles, but I didn't have any, so this was just a really light lunch, and I'm not the biggest fan of tofu. If you haven't had this before, it's more like a broth, quite watery but packed with loads of flavour, and because I didn't have any noodles with it I managed to eat 2 bowlfuls. In the afternoon for a snack I made these melt in the middle chocolate cookies. I first preheated my oven to 180 degrees Celsius, and then in a large bowl I mixed 2 cups of oats, half a cup of oat flour, you could use almond flour, 4 tablespoons of almond butter, 4 tablespoons of agave nectar, 2 tablespoons of coconut sugar, a chia egg, which is 2 tablespoons of chia seeds mixed with 6 tablespoons of water and left to set for 10 minutes, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then I added in 2 tablespoons of water as I was mixing it together. Made sure it was mixed together really well. I divided the mix into 6, rolled them into balls, and then I pressed my thumb into the centre, and then to the middle I added one of these, and these are the Almond chocolate milk chocolate buttons. It's probably the best vegan chocolate I've ever had. I then folded over the edges, made sure that the chocolate was covered really well and pressed it flat into a cookie shape. I then lined a baking tray and laid them out, giving enough space in between each cookie. I popped it in the oven and left them to bake for 20 minutes. Once I removed them from the oven, I just popped them on the side and left them to cool for 5 minutes, and then I tucked into one. These are delicious. Once you bite into them or break them open, they just ooze gooey melted chocolate, and the best part is there's nothing bad about them. It's something else that's a great idea for traveling with, on the go, and because they're so healthy, he says you can't have one for breakfast. For dinner we had a 3-bean chili with brown rice and guac. I started by dicing up a white onion, and then I added that to a large pan with a little olive oil and just browned it off. I then finally chopped 200 grams of mushrooms, and I added those to the pan along with 3 minced cloves of garlic, and I cooked that for around 5 minutes before then adding in 1 tablespoon of tomato puree and a tin of chopped tomatoes. I just used my marinara sauce, and then I left it to simmer. I then added in a teaspoon of chili powder, a teaspoon of oregano, and then I stirred it really well. Next I added in a can of mixed beans, which were cannellini beans, black beans and kidney beans, and then I poured in 1.5 cups of veg stock. I seasoned it with salt and black pepper and then left it covered for 25 to 30 minutes. Whilst that was cooking, I then cooked up some brown rice and made some guacamole. Apparently I've been saying this wrong my whole life and I've always said guacamole, but my recipe for this is linked down below. Then once everything was ready, I filled half the bowl with the brown rice and the other half with the chili, and then put the guac down the middle. And this dinner is packed with protein. It's so versatile as well. You can serve the chili on a baked potato or a baked sweet potato. I also use it in tacos and on nachos as well. And you can also add in sweet corn if you like. If I've got a tin of sweet corn in the cupboard, then that is what I will sometimes do. For dessert we just had some ice cream cookie sandwiches, and to put these together I just made my ice cream like always by blending up 1 frozen banana until it was almost smooth, and I just made a vanilla one, so then I added in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I then placed 1 scoop of the ice cream between 2 of the cookies to make a sandwich. And it's just another way to eat the cookies. Again, it feels like you're eating something that's really naughty, but it's all good for you and just so delicious. Everything mentioned today is listed and linked in the description box below. I really hope you loved it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again on Monday for the next one. Bye!